Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Us, Kate. We haven't done one for a while because we've both just been so busy trying to help women eat real food. But you work with men too, so it's not, I shouldn't discriminate. Yeah. Help everyone eat real food.
Everybody.
And Kate, we were just discussing this before, and a lot of women that come into our program, and I think this is probably a big issue in the fitness industry, is like we'll get a 120 kilo woman who tracks her food for 3 days and she's like, oh, Kitty, I'm only eating 1,200 calories. I'm really scared to eat more food. And I'm like, well, if you were truly eating 1,200 calories a day, because obviously the fitness industry sets you up for failure and tells you that this is what you need to do, you would be small. You would be tiny. If we all ate 1,200 calories a day, which is not the right thing to do, because obviously you and I have both done it and you feel like shit and you're tired. Right. And but what it does do is actually set you up for binge eating, and that is what makes you gain the weight, and then you get stuck in this vicious cycle of restriction, binge, and a lot of women even purge. Like we've
nothing good becomes of this.
No, and I think too, like it's a real, like women feel really ashamed about it. Like I talk about it a lot in our program, in our Facebook group, because I'm like, look, it's a real thing and it's nothing to be ashamed of. You just need to eat more food, because if you consistently ate more, you wouldn't binge eat, and you wouldn't be binge eating on crap. Like you've done it yourself, haven't you? Back in the day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I was religious, and I would eat my 1,200 calories. I did it in college when I lost my period, and I was like 105 pounds. But I became like a little bit of a skinny fat, because I was also probably losing muscle tissue, and I was doing like 2 hours of cardio every day, which was super healthy for you on a 1,200 calorie diet. As to why I lost my period. But you can train your body to do certain things. And I was little. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't heavy at that point in time, but you can't sustain it. It's not sustainable, and it's certainly not going to give you enough energy and calories to have good health, So the 1,200 calorie myth, and what most women do, is they eat 1,200 calories, and because again they can't sustain it, they binge, because your body's craving energies and sugars and nutrition. It's going to finally tell you, and you're not all the willpower in the world isn't going to help you at this point in time, when it's finally like you have that little bit of a cake, and we've all done it. You finally go to that party, you're trying to you're like, nails are just grinding in. I'm like, I'm not going to have anything. And you have that one little thing, and you've eaten the whole pie, the whole carton of ice cream. I mean, nobody plans to do that. That just happens because your body is finally like, oh God, please, finally calories. And then you consume 2,000-3,000 calories in one night. We've all been there. We've done it, and you feel like complete crap shit. You're so guilty. You feel horrible the next day. Yeah. And some women, it leads to purge, because of the guilt and the shame. That's, and it comes all down to, how you identify with your body and how you feel about your body. And it's this vicious cycle, and because the thing is, when you consume 1,200 calories, your body will adapt to that much energy coming in. So with that, like with me, when I did it, some metabolic processes stop working. Things like my period, like saying, nope, don't have energy for that. We'll just stop that right now. You can't procreate, right? So not that I was going to at 22, but point being is certain things stop working. Digestion, some people's hair falls out, your skin changes, your energy tanks, you're cold. I was freezing all the time on a 1,200 calorie diet. I mean, and those things are going to start happening. And, and then when, like, you can't go from consuming 1,200 calories to 2,500 calories in a week and think you're not going to gain weight. Your body isn't prepared or adapted to that increase in calories. Doesn't mean you don't need it, because you probably do, but you do need to make that slow progress increase in calories, so you don't put on a massive amount of weight in that process. You always need to meet your body where it's at. So if you're at 1,200 calories, and I don't, how you do it, it's like eat the right foods initially at 1,200 calories, and then slowly start adding in more and more and more and more. And then eventually you'll get to that 25 or whatever it is, and you'll be able to start losing weight, eating twice as much food.
And I think it's you, and Bo's got a client actually at the moment. I think she's 160 kilos. And he's been
for the Americans, just so you know, that's like 275 pounds, right? Because we all deal with pounds here over in the States.
Yeah.
So look what kilos. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. But she's really, really big. And I remember her coming into the gym one day And I was just chatting to her and just asking her how her training was going. And she was saying, oh, you know, I've been to all the doctors and they've like put me on 1,200 calories and it's not working. I'm like, yeah, but it's not the 1,200 calories that's working. It's because you binge eat on the weekend, don't you? And she said nothing. And then she's like, yeah, I do, Kitty. I eat KFC because I can't sustain it. And it's like, you're setting yourself up for failure. So Bo's been working with her for a while now and she's down 30 kilos. And
Awesome.
she's eating like 2,000 calories a day. It's just strength training 3 days a week, gradually getting stronger, learning how to lift. And she stopped binge eating. She stopped binge eating because she's actually eating real food and she feels satisfied. And, you know, I remember the days my favorite was Jersey caramels. These like, there's this supermarket here called Woolworths and they have this home brand line of lollies. And so they're just crap. They're like glucose syrup. I would eat like 2 packets, 2 large Domino's pizzas, corn chips. I used to love corn chips. So I reckon I'd probably consume 10,000 calories in one sitting, just about. Like I would eat till I felt sick.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Yeah, and because when you get to that binging state, like you don't even pay attention to any of the things that tell you you're full because your blood sugar at that point is so dysregulated. Your blood sugar is just spiked up and back down. And so you continue to eat even when it's like you're so sick feeling. I mean, you know, and like I said, any woman, especially in the fitness industry, I mean, I hate to say it, but we're all the worst. You know, we've been brought up in a world that creates, you know, demands upon especially women that are not sustainable with this kind of approach with, you know, work out like crazy and eat 12 to 1,400 calories. It just isn't sustainable. But could you go through a fitness competition with those? Of course you can. But if you do that repeatedly, you know, I mean, you've done some serious metabolic damage to your body to the point that now even eating at those calories, you know, you can't lose weight because you've put your body in such a state of adaptation to that lower energy level. And, you know, your body will always adapt to whatever stressors you put upon it, good and bad. Weight training is a good stress. It'll adapt by increasing your muscle mass, you know, increasing your metabolic rate. Starvation or low deficit of calories or removing sugars, all of those are going to adapt in a negative way. And, you know, it might not initially adapt horribly in the beginning because you might lose weight. And so everyone thinks that's a good thing. But because the way you're doing it, you're going to adapt and start having negative repercussions down the road. So, and I know you see it and I see it all the time when people finally come in like, I've been avoiding sugars, I've been on a ketogenic diet, and now I'm really starting to see the repercussions.
I think too, you know, like, and I don't know if this is a story you used to tell yourself, but I would always be, okay, I'm just going to have this massive binge and then this is it. This will be the last time that I ever binge again. And I just eat everything because I was like, okay, I can never have this food again. And then I would start a fresh Monday and I would get back on the 1,200 calories with the green vegetables and the nuts and seeds. And I'd be really good all week. And then I'd get to Friday night and I'd cave. And that cycle would just repeat itself week in, week out, week in, week out. And we see it with women in the program, you know, like I'll always look at their weight and just be, if they say that they're eating 1,500, I'm like, you 1,800. Like if you're, you know, above 70 kilos, like you need to be eating more food and it works every time. Like they feel better, they sleep better, they stop binge eating. Slowly their weight will, or their body will change, especially if they start to strength train, you know, if their metabolism's not really damaged.
Right.
So yeah, it's just, I think women are just so afraid of eating more food. Like I tell, yeah.
Yeah, well, we all have those stories, and there, you know, and there are you have a lot of shame around. I mean, in my 20s, I mean, I used to work and run fitness centers, you know, but you know, on sometimes when, you know, you've gone, like you said, 5 or 6 days by eating that 1,200 calories, but that 6 days, I'm like at the grocery store buying like ice cream bars and thinking, I'll just have one of these, right? And on the way home, I'm like, I've eaten 1 or 2 on the way home. By the time I get home, I'm like, I'm still thinking about those ice cream bars. And yeah, by the end of that night, that box is gone. I've eaten all of them, right? And then you feel so bad, and you repeat. It's that cycle, and then you're like, why am I losing any weight, right? Well, you just set yourself up for failure. Yeah. You're avoiding sugars, and you're eating shit when you finally eat it with no nutritional value on top of that. So it's a horrible, bad cycle. That's so many. I mean, we actually have a disorder now, like the binge eating disorder here. You see commercials on it, you know, and I'm sure they can put people on all sorts of medications because now it's marked as a disorder, where I'm just like, what the fucking disorder?
It's ridiculous.
But that's because sugar is so anti-sugar climate here, and I'm sure it is there too, that we've created a disorder because we are not eating properly. We're being put on these 1,200 medical diets. We're avoiding the sugars that we need to run our system. And now we've created a disorder based on what we've been doing. And then we're medicating these people. So what is seriously wrong with that scenario? I'm like, just eat throughout the day. And I get it, because I mean, and I know like you, and you know, initially you're just like petrified to eat this way, especially because you've been doing something for so long. And, you know, it's so ingrained, especially in fitness professionals, because at some point it does work. You know, eating 1,200 calories does help you lose weight. But the whole thought that you can actually eat more and still be at a good weight, and then the thought that you're actually not going to crave sugars, like that was like an amazing process for me. The fact that I don't crave those things anymore for 8 years now, I don't even think about it, worry about it. You don't binge eating this way because you never go through that cycle, that blood sugar craziness. It just doesn't happen. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to put any energy into it. It just doesn't happen anymore.
Because and a lot of women say this in our program. When I speak to them, you know, I'll interview them, and they're just like, I feel free. Like I'm finally free from food. It's control. Like it would just, you know, control you because you just think about it. But of course you're going to think about it all the time because your body, you're not giving your body what it needs. And I think too, it's like we get a lot of women who come in and they'll track their food and we'll look at what they're eating, and they're eating way too much fat, not enough protein. You know, like they just need to balance out their macros better, eat a bit more, you know, put some orange juice. And it's just like when you can eat ice cream every night and custard and potatoes and butter, like people say to me that, because I eat pretty similar-ish foods every week because I'm pretty routine. They're like, don't you get bored, Kia? I'm like, not really. Like, because I can't think of anything nicer than potatoes with salt and butter and ice cream and custard. And, you know, I just never get sick of it because it's so yummy. Like simple, tasty. Not to say that you can't make, you know, more complex recipes. It's just each to their own. But, you know, you don't think about it.
Yeah, but there's no right or wrong way. I mean, you can be more diverse. You can add, I mean, and the thing is, I mean, once you start feeling better and eating better, you can have those little cheat things whenever you want. I mean, not whenever, but here and there. You're not going to want them all the time, and you're not going to have the ramifications like you did before. If you're on a 1,200 calorie diet and you go out and splurge, you know, you get on the scale the next day, which we would all do, and you gain 5 pounds. Now, you're not really gaining 5 pounds of fat, but all the water retention because you just went from a carb depleted state to now being, you know, you're just consumed all those carbohydrates and you're going to hold a bunch of water, but you just don't have that anymore, you know? And so, what always amazes me is, and I don't, you know, when I used to go on vacation, when I used to eat my 1,200 calories, and I would gain 5 pounds in a week.
Same.
Right? Now, when you go on a vacation, and I have with clients all the time, they're like, Kate, I didn't do anything and I just ate whatever I wanted and I lost 4 pounds. And I'm like,
I know.
yeah. Right? I mean, because you removed all the stress for one, but because now your body is utilizing energy better, it's just so happier when you're consuming real food all the time versus going there and freaking out because you can't control your food, you can't exercise, and you can't do all these things. And now you're just living and freeing and enjoying your time. It frees them from that psychotic feeling of, you know, I have to control my food and I have to exercise all the time. And you just don't have to do that anymore, which life shouldn't be about that. Right? It shouldn't be.